Hey, wow. Hi, my name is Thomas Brush. I'm the creator of a game called Pinstripe, also a game called Neversong. Those games have been released to pretty much every platform, and we recently just released Neversong to Steam to rave reviews. 9 out of 10 on Steam from users, and also great coverage from press outlets and YouTubers. People seem to really like the game. It's been an awesome experience, and I'm just so excited about letting you guys have the opportunity to play it. It's actually 15% off right now, so click the link in the description to check it out. That would really mean a lot to me. So today is kind of a special video because I got an email and it's made me think about why people choose to do indie game development. And it's gotten me thinking about why people choose certain careers. I guess the psychology behind why certain people choose entrepreneurship, certain people choose working a desk job they hate for decades, or why people choose to be indie game developers when the majority of indie game developers don't even make a lot of money. I'm fortunate in that finally, after a decade of making games, I'm actually making a decent salary. But lots of indies out there don't make a lot of money. So I want to read this email, and hopefully you guys can relate to the email, but also encourage the individual who emailed. But before we get started, I want to thank our sponsor. Guys, sponsors, they really do help support this channel, help support my studio. So let's give them just a little bit of our attention and say thank you to them. Real quick, guys, this video is brought to you by Gamify. So if you use Shopify, we just found the funnest way to generate more leads while adding gamification to your website. Check out Gamify. Their app quickly lets you customize, brand, and incentivize games right on your website. And they even have a pro tool if you have an agency and want to add another service to your offering. Users of Pro Tool have created games for the likes of Wendy's, KFC, and even Nissan. So go ahead, check out Gamify, click the link in the description, and that would really mean a lot. Thank you so much, Gamify, for sponsoring this video. It really helps out our channel. Okay, so the emailer, I can't say their name, just because I didn't ask them if I could read their email. So I'm going to read some of the email, I'm going to paraphrase some of it, but let's pretend the emailer's name is Sarah. Hello, my name is Sarah, and I've recently decided to pursue indie game development. I'm a homeschooled 10th grader, and my career choice has changed many times since I was first asked what I wanted to be in kindergarten. At first it was an artist, and then a game designer, and this is so funny. Then gradually it changed to be an astrophysicist or an astronaut or even a veterinarian as my main interest changed over the years. Isn't that funny how you kind of look back and maybe when you were in kindergarten, your view of yourself and what you loved might actually be more accurate than what it was in high school with all the pressure from your parents and your peers. Anyway, we'll get into that in just a second. However, I always had a notebook filled with game ideas and was always left wondering if my ideas could ever come to life. It was last year I decided to be an artist and stick with what I knew best within that area, regarding fine art, commissions, and that sort of stuff. But I still wasn't feeling it. I may have a passion for art, but as for a career choice, I just wasn't up to it. Paraphrasing here, one day she stumbled across my YouTube channel, started watching my videos, watched a lot of them, and then she suddenly remembered that sort of childhood passion she had of wanting to make games. So I started dabbling in creating games, and I created some RPG type games, and they were purely text-based. I've really been inspired by you, your videos, and I've decided I'm going to pursue indie game development. Making games is the one thing in my life that hasn't dissolved. Unlike my other interests, it's somehow managed to stay intact right alongside coding and art. So why not combine them all? So I recently, beginning of the month, began learning to do all this stuff in Unity, Blender, sharpening my digital skills, and learning game making. Now here is the part that I really want to focus on. This is the most important part of this email. However, I've heard discouraging words from friends, family members, and even my co-workers about my choice. I don't plan on going to college, but I do plan on going to tech school. I don't see myself benefiting from college or university, though my grandfather and co-workers all say otherwise. I believe I know what is best for myself in these terms. I'm extremely enthusiastic about what my future holds in terms of game development and art. But I just wanted to say thank you, blah, 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 blah. I'm grateful. This is great, right? This is really, really great. We found someone emailed us asking us what we think about her decision to pursue a childhood dream in indie game development. First, before I give you any advice here, I want to say there's a 10% chance that your grandfather and your friends are correct, and here's why. If you're a lazy, flighty, unfocused individual with very little discipline, I would say go to college. It's kind of like go to boot camp. Go do something. Do something that's completely outside of your interest so that you can grow in discipline and learn what it's like to actually follow through and finish something. Now, let's assume that isn't you. If that is you, stop watching this video because you need to get some discipline. But if that's not you, let's move that aside and let's talk about your family. Obviously, they have your best interest in mind because that's just their paradigm, especially different generations. They all think differently. My reason for going to college or starting a game studio or pursuing entrepreneurship, my sole reason for doing all of this was freedom. I wanted freedom. If I was passionate about, mushrooms. I don't know what the term is. It's not herbology, like mushrooms. Is it mycology? I don't know. If I was passionate about mushrooms and I wanted the freedom to pursue that, I would do whatever it took, even if it meant I made $10,000 a year to pursue that. So a lot of us, when we're in high school, our parents and my parents were actually very understanding of my career path. They actually were very encouraging. But a lot of parents, they think their paradigm is you go to college so you make a stable income. That's the point. You go to college, you spend $40,000, you strap yourself to a ton of debt. It could be more than $40,000. And then because you're strapped to that debt, you're a slave to this job for the rest of your life. But it provides a steady income, right? That's the point. That's why we live this life, I guess, is to have this stable income source to support our joy, right? Income is the foundation of our joy. That, to me, is complete BS. Freedom is the foundation to my joy. I don't care what my income is. Freedom is the foundation to my joy. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that I'm just a prick who wants to do whatever he wants. It means that if I have a passion deep down or I'm excited about something, I have the freedom to pursue it, and I'm not strapped down by debt or car payments or some massive bill that I have to pay. So I think it's very important for all of us, all of you guys watching, if you're going to pursue entrepreneurship, you're going to pursue indie game development, yes, it could very well mean you don't make a lot of money. I think it was a Kotaku article in 2014 said that the average income for solo game developers was $10,000 a year. It's not true for me. I've finally sort of solidified. For me, it's a six-figure income. But for teams, it's about $50,000 per person. That's US dollars. All that said, that's not a lot of money, right? So an indie game developer, Sarah, yourself included, you guys need to understand that yes, the income level is very, very small, the average, but it also means that you're free. You're free to be able to do whatever you want. Now, obviously, there's a catch. If you don't make enough money, you're not free. You're going to need to go find another job or else you're going to be on the streets, right? So if you can build up enough of an income stream and be smart, then yes, you can be free and you can make games and you can explore. See, I love freedom in your 20s. Now, we'll talk about why I keep talking about the 20s. Your 20s are typically your years. You're allowed to do with them what you want. Now, me, I got married in my 20s, so I still was allowed to do what I wanted, but I had another mouth to feed and another person to take care of. But we sort of took care of each other. I have kids now, so as I'm moving into my 30s, now it's not all about my freedom, right? I actually care more about my family's freedom than my freedom. So income potential gets really important in your 30s. But if you are 17 years old to 29 years old and you don't have any dependencies, any people relying on you, Why are you so worried about college? Why are you so worried about making money? I think it's really important for you to be worried about, are you pursuing things that interest you? You really need to be going with a shotgun approach in your 20s. You need to be trying as many things as possible and failing at as many things as possible so that you get an idea of what brings you that sense of freedom and that sense of joy. And then hopefully, when you find that sense of joy and that sense of freedom, you can pursue it in your 30s and 40s and actually make a reasonable income from it. And that's exactly what I did in my 20s. I pursued a ton of different things. I was in a band. I did a lot of music. I did illustration. I did freelance web design, freelance coding. I also did animation. I worked for a marketing agency. I did plenty of things, and I found that I just liked making games the most. I'm glad that I got to try out all those things. I wasn't locked into some career because I was strapped to that career because of debt. And that's exactly what college does to you. So I think your decision to go to a tech school is a brilliant move because what it means is you're not, a slave to that degree because frankly, it'll be like $2,000 a year. So you should probably be able to afford that. And it doesn't take a lot of your time. It might be 2 to 4 years to get a degree, and you can lean on that degree when you need it. It's great to have a small degree that you can lean on, especially in indie game development, because if indie game development isn't paying the bills, you can still lean on that degree when you need to make ends meet. So I think it's a brilliant move. Overall, guys, I think some generations, some family members and friends, they might not understand what the point of even living is. It's not to make a lot of money. Money doesn't bring you joy. Obviously, I mean, that's a cliche at this point. But having a nice big house and plenty of car payments, that doesn't really make you happy or bring you joy. The things that bring you joy are you being able to express yourself, especially those of you who have very salty, expressive personalities. I can imagine it's torture not being able to share that with the world in the form of some art, whether it's game development or illustration or animation or filmmaking. So I would prefer living a poverty-stricken life as long as I was free to express myself. So again, your family might be right, Sarah. They might be right, and you need to acknowledge that. When they say that you're not going to make a lot of money and it's not going to be a profitable industry, you say, yeah, you might be right. I could make $5,000 in a year. But let me list out the benefits, and then here's where you list out the benefits. You say, I'm in my 20s. I have plenty of energy. I have plenty of time to make mistakes, and mistakes are going to make me stronger, give me a thicker skin. And these mistakes are going to inform me of what I do love. But I also might be making a lot of successes. So failures lead to success, but also you might just have successes. You might release a game that makes you $10,000, and then your family's going to go, whoa, I didn't know you could do this. And that was me with my dad. My first game I made was called Coma, and I just released it on newgrounds.com. Had 8 million plays, and I remember getting lunch with my dad at Cracker Barrel. And he said, hey, you just made $10,000 off this game. Maybe you should try it again. I had no idea that this was possible. His view of what was possible was changed. It's kind of like, I don't know, TikTok. I don't understand TikTok. I guess I'm too old for TikTok. But everybody loves TikTok. I'm not going to sit here and tell everybody that TikTok is stupid and it's a bad decision, or maybe you should be spending your time doing TikTok. There's something there that I don't understand, and hopefully I can learn what it is. And I guess it's our job to tell older generations or people who don't understand the kind of industry that we're in or that we're interested in. It's our job to try and explain to them and also prove to them why it's worth our time. But again, Sarah, you might not make any money as an indie game developer. You might fall flat on your face and fail miserably and quit and then go to college. But I say that's totally worth it because now you did it. Now you know that wasn't a path for you, and you won't be, I guess, guilt-ridden for the rest of your life that you didn't pursue it. Additionally, your skin's going to get thicker. you're just going to be a totally different person if you pursue something as strange and bizarre and risky as something like indie game development or entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship makes giants out of small people because it requires so much effort and so much brain power and so much, I guess, manifestations of confidence that you didn't think you had. And I say that that's way more valuable than going to college. Now, I went to college. I got a degree. So there's plenty of positives in regard to going to college. One of the main negatives is the debt. Fortunately, I don't have that debt because my dad helped pay for my school. But I learned discipline, right? So don't forget that you need to be pursuing discipline. And that's why I love that you're going to be going to a tech school, because you're going to learn that discipline while you pursue indie game development with a free spirit. So there's never a place for only free spirit. There's never a place for only wisdom. I think you need to be able to combine both of them. I think you need to have a very bipolar sense, a bipolar entrepreneurial sense, which is I need to be a leader and a disciplined leader at that, but I also need to be a free spirit. I need to be the 17-year-old that's learned a lot of life lessons, but I also need to be that 6-year-old that was creative and had passion and was unhindered by family or friends' opinions of me. And you need to learn to live in that strange juxtaposition. It's difficult, but I'm going to tell you, if you pursue it and you fail or you win, regardless, the end result is you're smarter, you're wiser, and you have a thicker skin. And your peers probably won't have that. Again, guys, my name is Thomas Brush. Never Song just hit Steam. It's got a 9 out of 10 from user reviews. I would love for you guys to check it out. It's 15% off, at least during this actual moment of time. If you're watching this video in the future, I'm sorry, it's not 15% off. It might be 20% off or 90% off. But right now, on May 26th, 2020, it is 15% off. Subscribe, click the like button, leave a comment. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.